Another KSL SportsBeat exclusive, Forever Young, brought to you tonight by New Skin, Geneva Steel, Franklin Quest, Southwest Airlines, and Macy's.
We know Steve Young as the All-American from BYU, the kid who signed the $40 million deal with the USFL. Got his head nearly knocked off in Tampa Bay before landing in San Francisco. But that's where the real challenge began. A guy named Joe Montana owned the city of San Francisco. Sure, Young was a nice insurance policy, but Montana was their man. No one else. But then Joe's elbow gave out and was traded to Kansas City, and all of a sudden, the 49ers belonged to Steve Young. His passing, precise, ran like a tailback. The Niners won, but unlike Joe, Steve Young could not win the big one. That is until January 29th in Miami, the day Steve Young stepped out of the shadow of Joe Montana.
Someone take the monkey off my back, please! It's gone forever!
Young pulled the monkey off his back with 6 touchdown throws against San Diego. And tonight, the Super Bowl MVP reflects about his super day in Miami, shows us his home in San Francisco, his car collection in Provo, and talks about life after football. Stay tuned for Forever Young.
Just what kind of car can you
book in a lot of ways, is it not, for Steve Young?
Yeah, I think so, because there were certain things that people put out there and saying if he could accomplish this, you know, then he'd be a great player. You know, the thing that I want to make sure that people understand is there's 2 different things. There's our professional life, where everything has been storybook, and then other than that, you have a life that you're going to be happy regardless. And so I think it was a setup deal that if I wasn't successful in my profession, people would say my life was unsuccessful. I was a little overwhelmed by my teammates' response to a lot of, you know, before the Super Bowl, they were talking about they want to win it for me, they want to do these things to make me fulfill my dream. And after the game, so many of the comments were about people being happy for me, and I thought, you know, that was an amazing camaraderie, amazing feeling from your teammates. So I couldn't ask for more. We had a group that we just came together, and it was a lot of fun.
Had you lost the big one, you would still have found peace within Steve Young?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the thing that you can't buy too much into is that, you know, I was playing probably better football than I ever believed I could. And so in your heart, you have to define success for yourself. So that if you let other people define it for you, you'll never be successful, because there's always something more out there.
Right. Did Joe Montana call you?
No, we don't. You know, our contact hasn't been much over the years at all. And so he could have great feelings about our game, and I'm sure that we wouldn't talk for a number of months until we ran into each other. So people want to nail that, and I don't think it's fair, because both sides will run into each other the next few months. And I'm not, you know, I know what you're asking, but I wouldn't want to pin him down on that, because I'm not so sure that with our relationship that wouldn't be just fine to see each other in a few months and say, great game.
Yeah.
It's a compliment he may never hear. Joe left San Francisco with bitterness, and for some reason, 49er teammates, the fans and media blamed a lot of Joe's bitterness on Young. And each time Steve Young failed to get the 49ers to the Super Bowl, the bitterness grew even deeper.
There was no good part that was going to come out of me bad-mouthing somebody. I was going to lose. You know, and there were times I was frustrated. There was times I wanted to defend myself. There were times I wanted to lash out at people that were I thought were, you know, doing wrong to me. But I couldn't win those publicly. I knew it, and it would be a huge mistake to try.
Well, Steve,
you hugged the trophy for one time.
Yeah, I didn't want to let it go. I thought that there was just so much emotion poured into that one little object, you know. We're not supposed to worship graven images, you know, but I was certainly glad to get a hold of that thing, because it represented so much to me as a professional, because, like it or not, quarterback shouldn't be judged in the end on championships. And so I could play the best football maybe that's ever been played, and it wouldn't matter. Honestly, you know, I had dreamed a lot about playing in a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl, what that would be like. And I got to say, the great thing about doing it is rarely in life is doing it really as great as you dreamed. This time, the reality was better.
Up next, Steve Young talks about his football career from BYU all the way to NFL MVP.
I bought my way out of the USFL so I could go play in the NFL and play with Tampa Bay. Yeah. And I was so excited to get to the NFL to get some stability, to get somewhere where, you know, things would start being normal. And I got to Tampa Bay, and it was worse.
Not a Utah guy?
Yeah, I think very much so. A lot of times I'll go to a dinner or some public speaking or do something, and someone will say, "What are you doing in town?" I'll think, "Well, this is where that's where I live. If I'm not playing football, this is where I live and where I've been really for the last 10 years, and really 15 years now. Scary." And so I've been, you know, down here quite a bit. I've got roots down here and homes, and really, this is where I was born here. If I was born and raised anywhere, it's now Utah rather than the East Coast. It's been more years here than anywhere else.
Now, there's a misconception that Connecticut is home, or...
Well, that's where I spent some time, you know, when I was 8 through high school. So those are the formative years of my life, and my folks still live back there. So you got to say I grew up back there. But since I came back to here for college and now stayed, you know, this is like the warm blanket that you feel when you go someplace and you say, "I'm home." This is the place that has kind of become that for me.
Highlight of your life at BYU?
Well, to me, you know, I had to replace Jim McMahon, and at that time, I mean,
That's like replacing Montana.
It's the same thing. In fact, when I was doing this thing with Joe, I thought, you know, I've been through this before.
And that helped you, didn't it?
Absolutely, because the intensity. I remember walking down University Avenue when I was a freshman or sophomore, and I was back in a McMahon, and people on the street would be saying, "I'd overhear him. Who's going to play after McMahon?" Well, you know, he can't. And then I started to play my junior year. I played a couple of games, and there's no way you could be Jim McMahon. It's impossible, you know? And so how are you going to find a way to replace this guy? And so to me, the highlight, which maybe some will remember, but it's kind of my junior year was the first year I started. We were, you know, we were WAC champions. We were on the Holiday Bowl every year. Hey, bud, what's going on?
Came back for a visit?
Yeah, just say hi. We went to Utah, the last game of the year, for the WAC championship. And I felt like I might not replace Jim McMahon, but I could be WAC champion.
Right.
And I can take this team to the Holiday Bowl. And so when we won that game, I remember the game was over. We won 19-12. And right after the game, it started to snow. I remember walking off the field, snow's coming down, up at Rice Stadium. It was the greatest moment of my football career, I think, because it was proved to myself that I could do it, you know?
It was almost like a mini Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was like the first time in my life, I really knew I could do it.
And with that, Young went on to lead BYU to a win over Missouri in Holiday Bowl 6. And then came the $40 million offer from the USFL.
It was rough because I left Provo. The first day I went, I was the $40 million man. And I remember papers even in Salt Lake City, my beloved hometown. I was getting ripped for what was wrong with America and what was wrong with American sports.
Right.
And I thought, oh no, I want to be what's right with America and American sports. So it was a rough year for me to kind of make that transition to being a pro. A lot more scrutiny. But in the long run, for what I faced in San Francisco, ended up facing in San Francisco, it was the best thing that possibly could happen because nothing, I think, could prepare me for what happened in the late 80s and early, these last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Did you after L.A., then you kind of hang out, and then all of a sudden Tampa Bay. The doormat of the NFL have been for years. And I look at old videos of you, man. I'm surprised you're still walking. You were beat up.
Honestly,
constantly.
I bought my way out of the USFL so I could go play in the NFL. and play with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to get to the NFL to get some stability, to get somewhere where, you know, things would start being normal. And I got to Tampa Bay, and it was worse.
Worse than the USFL?
It was worse.
And
It
what
was
way?
just organizationally, attitude, just the desire to go out and win. There were fights in the locker room. I mean, it was just, to me, it was everything that could go wrong in an organization to not be successful. It was like a case study. Honestly, I was very lucky to get traded. We got the first draft choice. Ray Perkins came in, thought I was too short, too slow, not strong enough. I mean, all the things I'd heard all the years he bought into, and traded me to San Francisco.
Have you wrote him a thank you note?
No, but I've said it a few times how grateful I am that he thought I sucked. So.
Well, the 49ers are grateful. Young gave them their 5th Super Bowl trophy, making them the most successful football team to ever strap on a helmet. And for Young, the endorsement offers are rolling in.
Heavy publicity, I've never been really comfortable with it. To be out in the middle of trying to pub somebody's product, I've been very careful. I go, you know, if someone wants to do something in the newspaper, if someone wants to do something, I'll come speak for you. But when you want to put me on TV, I don't know about that. So I've been pretty careful. There'll be a few that'll come up.
Anybody, I'm sure you've had.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Steinberg still represents
Right,
you.
absolutely.
How many people have talked to him? Do you know?
I talked to his secretary the other day, and she says that she gets about, she'll list the, you know, she'll get something will come in and put a number on it. That's about 100 a day right now.
Do you cash your own check? Do you ever see the 49er logo on your paycheck?
Sure.
Do you go down to the bank?
Sure.
Do you make the deposit?
Absolutely. People don't know how to treat me sometimes because I can tell that that's the first thing on their mind. When they meet me, it's like, that guy makes a lot of money. And you can see how they treat you. It's different. And you think to yourself, wow, I never really saw myself that way. I look at myself differently, and you have to learn to react to people to what they see in you, you know, so that you can make them feel more comfortable. So more times than not now, people see me and meet me, and you can tell that's what's in their mind. Geez, that guy makes a lot of money.
Do you make investments, or do you have someone else do it for you?
I do it.
Do you? Wow.
Yeah. And my philosophy is, you know, I just draw a real secure map on where I buried it, and you know,
You got a treasure map.
that's just exactly where it is.
Excellent.
You know, and as long as I don't lose the map, I'm fine.
This
is it. This is it.
Coming up, a look at Steve Young's most prized possessions when Forever Young continues.
I've always wanted a truck, so this is the first new car I've had since 1987. '89, and all these trees they brought down. There's mountain pines, and they brought them down. I must have brought them down from the canyon somewhere and planted them 100 years ago.
Steve Young has several getaways. He's got his horse ranch in Provo, a log house in Deer Valley, and his home outside San Francisco. A home that has kind of a college dorm room feel to it.
This little storage place where I've gotten a lot of my trophies and just stuff over the years, you know.
You don't keep track of this, do you?
No, I just know that one day I'm going to really want it, and so I kind of put everything back here. It's all completely out of order. There's no order to it at all. Just I want it all in one place.
What jersey is it?
You never know. You never know. No, that's my Pro. That's a Pro Bowl jersey.
Okay, that's the Pro Bowl jersey.
Yeah.
Do your radio show? You
So
sing?
my radio show is my mic. Yeah, so I sing into that Mondays and Fridays. And the radio show went very well this year, as you can imagine. Here's a country station in town. Young Country made it Steve Young Country for a while.
Sure, 93.3.
Yeah, they were going on the bet that we'd go all the way. My needs are not great in the kitchen department, and so this serves as kind of the small kitchen for the most part until the house is completely done, obviously. But
after a game, do you like to sit down and what do you have? I mean, what's it?
Well, we usually have a group. A lot of my buddies come out from Salt Lake for games, and we'll have 30 people after a game.
Yeah.
All go to dinner, and we've had so much success at home the last few years that you can almost count on us going out and having a celebration. So A lot of people from out of town, a lot of friends from BYU that are here in the area, a lot of friends I've made since I've been here. So we have 30, 40 people every week. The great thing for me is, I'm not known for my wardrobe, and so you lay it all out and there it is.
You're a blue jean type of guy?
Yeah, if I can wear a blue jean with even a tux sometimes, I don't like getting too fancy. I mean, it's just not my personality, so, but I don't, I grew up going to church every Sunday, putting a tie on, so I know all about that stuff, but if I could dress down, I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
That's the Pete Rozelle trophy right there.
What's this one mean to you?
Yeah, it's almost too much.
6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I've never thrown 4 touchdowns. I've thrown a couple times, in college, but it's just Pee Wee League. 6, I mean, that's insane. You don't do that, and then you do it in the Super Bowl. It was almost too much. Too good. Too good.
Life is almost too good back at the horse ranch. Last time we counted, 40 head of some pretty good stock.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a horseman. I just like them here. I like them here. I don't know much. It's not, I don't claim to be an expert, I just, when I got the property and the horses were here, I said, you know what, I don't know much, but I like to look at them. I like to see them come, and I've learned more, and it's fun. It's relaxing, and
Do you ride much?
I don't ride very much. No. I'll probably start. I have a couple of horses that we've broken and we could ride, go up in the mountains and stuff. We'll start doing that. I've never had 40.
Behind the barns,
39,
the Steve Young collection.
Do you have a fascination with autos? I mean...
Not really. Just older cars. I don't know what it is about older cars, just with style. To me, driving down the street in this, to me, is more fun than in a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And honestly, I bought a Porsche a couple years ago, and I got it out in California, and I drive fast in it and so forth, but not nearly as fun as doing this.
The old Ford pickup,
Yeah.
right?
And then we fixed this old 71 Carmen Ghia.
Wow.
That's convertible. That's fun to drive around. This is my Super Bowl truck. I just got this. And,
okay, Super Bowl.
well,
Didn't you win a
I brought a Buick Riviera, and I kind of flipped it, and I went with the Dodge pickup. I've always wanted a big truck.
So this is
it.
MVP.
This is it.
So you traded the Riviera for the Dodge 4x4.
And B10. I've always wanted a truck. So this is the first new car I've had since 1987. So I'm quite proud of this here. So be careful. Don't get too close. All right? We'll dust it off. Now, here's the car. I bought this in 1987 when I was in Florida.
With a bus.
Yeah, and you can see that's here for all winter, but in the summertime with the top down, it's like a parade car. It's a 76 Cadillac convertible Eldorado. So I think I got everything covered. Whatever you need, whatever your needs are. So, parade, hauling, 4x4, you want to, date with your wife, a fancy little Carmen Ghia with the top down, not sure what the old truck really is for. We'll figure something out.
Pioneer Day.
Pioneer Day can be in the parade.
Yeah.
Steve's been in a few parades of his own lately. He shared his seat with his girlfriend, Stephanie Weston, after the 49ers won the Super Bowl. That fueled reports of a soon-to-be-announced wedding. Young hasn't popped the question, but for the first time in his life, he feels ready to share his life.
This has been a great year for that because I think I finally became emotionally available, to somebody. Over the years, I think as I look back, I had a lot of great relationships over the years with great girls, and I just, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And I finally found out that maybe I was part of it, rather than always looking at the other person and saying, oh, that's not right. It's looking inside. And once I did that and saw that, I wasn't tremendously open to people, and doing that, and, a lot of people saw Stephanie during the year and us being together, and I got to admit, through the season, that's the test of any relationship. It's the first professional football season, and we made it, and I'm really excited about that.
When Forever Young returns, what could possibly be next for the 49er quarterback?
What's next? You did it.
It's a great question.
You did it.
You worked so many years to get to here, that you never give a thought to what you do when you did it. Worked so many years to get to here, you know, that you never give a thought to what you do when you did it. And it's been a weird experience. There's a part of me that says, maybe I should now go do something else. You know, is there what? Because I've been driven to this point. I mean, I was insane trying to get to that. And getting there, honestly, I'm not sure that I've completely thought that through.
Are you having a letdown right now, by any chance? I mean...
Not a letdown. It's just that, like I said, it's been such a focus for so long, and you've used it as an incentive for so long, all of a sudden it's gone. You know, the things that you've used over the years are now accomplished.
Right.
Now, what is the next thing?
The next thing could be another Super Bowl trophy. After football, he can put his law degree to use, continue with his Forever Young charity, and with his popularity, how about politics?
Steve Largent's a congressman. Yeah. You know, Bill Bradley, who's an old hero of mine from the Knicks, is a very powerful senator from New Jersey. Yeah. I don't know. I got too many strong opinions. People wouldn't vote for me. I'd have to mellow out. Trying to get the edge on the other team. And I need to be here for my sanity at some point, you know, to just relax and get back to my roots. This is not my favorite one. The horses are pretty good friends,
yeah.
You know?
You can trust these
They don't
guys.
care.
Yeah.
How many guys got the 76 Cadillac Eldorado convertible?
I just think that with the name recognition, just a few hours, and you get way too much credit. Way too much.
Really?
So I appreciate the thought that that's what's happening, and I probably do my share. But certainly, you know, my sense, my own conscience, I feel like I should be doing more, to be honest with you.
Forever Young has been brought to you tonight by New Skin, Geneva Steel, Franklin Quest, Southwest Airlines, and Macy.